Hello, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are. This is a new kind of YouTube thing that I wanted to try out. Basically, it's meant to be, well, I don't know. I don't know what they intended it for, but the way that I saw it is that this live event, when I end it, which will be in just about 10 minutes from now, it will seamlessly send you over to the premiere video that I am releasing today, which is Lip Trill Madness 2. It's been a while since I did the Lip Trill Madness 1, and it's kind of long overdue. I was a bit more specific on Lip Trill Madness 2. So what I thought I would do here is use this time to talk specifically about what you and the individual fox can expect to see in Lip Trill Madness 2, which will be released in 10 minutes from now. So, getting right down to it, specifically, Lip Trill Madness 2 covers narrower ranges, but they are very specific in each of the individual fox. And what I wanted to do was two things. One, really cover the area around the secondo passaggio. This is also called the break. Now, this can be somewhat confusing when it comes to female vocals, because oftentimes the primo passaggio or the middle voice registration event can be more challenging than the secondo passaggio, but I had a solution for that. Two, there was a request that came in about using the lip trill, and that it doesn't seamlessly make your actual singing, like when you start singing vowels and things like that, that much easier. And this is because of the nature of the exercise. Now, the lip trill is a great exercise. It is what we call a semi-occluded exercise. And that's a fancy way of saying it's kind of blocked. It's partially blocked. Now, what this blockage does is that it presents an additional barrier to the column of air. And that air column then, you basically, it makes it easier to get the amount of subglottic air pressure, or airflow, if you will. That's that's the kind of normal way of referring to that. But it's not exactly accurate, because the flow of air doesn't really change all that much, but it's the subglottic air pressure, the column of air below the epiglottis, below the vocal folds too, the pressurization of it, that really is required for full usage of the vocal mechanism. So that subglottic air pressure, when you have an occlusion, and we do this with the lip trill, or you can do it like with straw phonation or straw water phonation. Those are all semi-occluded exercises, and they make it easier to get that subglottic air pressure such that the vocal fold can release more completely. So you very frequently get vocalists doing the lip trill, and their response will be something to the effect of, when I'm using the lip trill, I can go all over the place, all up and down and across the secondo passaggio, and it's all very easy. But when I start to sing a song, or I start to sing just vowels, like my old problems persist. I get this airy falsetto tone production above the secondo passaggio, or I feel strain, or something to that effect. And this is because there's like a translation that has to occur between using the lip trill to learn about how our voice operates, and then implementing that with actual vowels, and then ultimately in songs. So the exercises in Lip Trill Madness 2 are exercises that admittedly are a little clunky, but they allow us to do the lip trill and then transition into vowels, so that we can try to maintain that same kind of engagement and subglottic air pressure, such that we get the same kind of vocal response from our voices. And what we can do is practice this, get accustomed to the vocal response, and then begin to not do the lip trill before you do the vowels. And so it's a means by which to segue into getting better vocal performance across, in this case, the secondo passaggio. So like I said, Lip Trill Madness 2 focuses primarily on the secondo passaggi of the individual fox. For the baritones, this means that most of the exercises are going to be between like the top note, like there's lower notes, but the top note will be that A3 here. And I think I go as high in the baritones as E4, if I remember correctly. Tenors, we're transiting the secondo passaggio, so most of our exercises go between that C4 and the G4 that's above it. For altos, I did your sequences twice. And the reason why I did that was because very frequently when I have had the pleasure of working with alto or contralto range vocalists, the middle voice registration event can be as tricky, or it's not that it's as tricky, it's often mistaken for the secondo passaggio. And often the secondo passaggio doesn't really get that developed. So for the alto or contralto range vocalist, your middle voice registration event is usually in that G sharp 4, A4 area, depending. And the secondo passaggio is D5. So for the alto section, I go through all of the exercises for the middle voice registration event, and then I do it all again for the secondo passaggio. Tenors and baritones, this is actually of interest to you too, because you could do the front part of the alto range vocal practice if you wanted to work on your tertiary registration event, the registration event that comes beyond the secondo passaggio. I would only advise you do that if you are really, really secure in the location of your secondo passaggio, that you are quite confident that it is in fact located where you suspect it may be. This can frequently be confusing, especially if you have squeezed out high notes in the past, or if you are unaware of any registration event, like you've never been aware of it, you might not be doing it. And so you need to be very, very sure of yourself, certain that you've sussed this out correctly. Mezzos, your secondo passaggio is typically at E flat 5. And for mezzos, sometimes that primo passaggio, which is usually in the area of F4, F sharp 4, sometimes the mezzos can have a very challenging time of that too. That can sometimes be mistaken for the secondo passaggio. If you're in that category, you might also do the second section of the soprano range Fock. Sopranos get the exercises done twice too. Once for the secondo passaggio, F5 and G5 respectively, or not respectively, but it's usually the secondo passaggio is in there somewhere. But then sopranos, I do the second half of your Fock. I do the second half of your Fox exercises, looking at the primo passaggio, because just as much as the lip trill exercise helps us create the right subglottic air pressure and lets us be more flexible with the vocal fold, we can use that around the primo passaggio too. So mezzos, if you're struggling with your primo passaggio, you might check in on the second half of the soprano video and do their primo passaggio exercises, because those exercises all are right in the area of that F4. It's only a major second difference there between the soprano primo passaggio and the mezzo primo passaggio. So that is a rundown of what you can find in this video. I hope it works out, that it kind of sets you all up for the premiere, those of you that are with me this morning, which I know is not a huge number of people, but that's cool. It's great to be here just the same. I do have another live event coming up next Wednesday, so Luke, I'll be able to take more questions then. Tips. Always carry throat and body tension when I sing. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that. Luke, I don't know if you can make it to the live event on Wednesday. Like, remind me of that or post it again. And I'd love to speak to it more. I kind of have to wrap this up today because I'm going to end this right at 10 o'clock. So it makes a segue into the premiere. But I wanted to also shout out that I am currently doing enrollment for like only another day for High Note Bootcamp, which is my upper register delineated singing process. If you want to sign up for it, it's at jeffrolkasingingcourses.com. jeffrolkasingingcourses.com. This is a delineated method to transit the secundo passages. So the same kind of stuff that's in this video for Lip Trill Madness is what I do in High Note Bootcamp, but it's lip trills and vowels, and it's a system that I developed to help vocalists get that transition really, really solid. So jeffrolkasingingcourses.com. Enrollment is only open for another day or two. But I actually should have mentioned it here on YouTube before, but I'm a singing instructor primarily and not so much into marketing and things, but I try to do the best I can. Anyways, thank you so much for being here this morning. I know it's short, hopefully sweet. Luke, thank you for popping up. I know you pop up all the time and I really appreciate it. And hopefully this will work. So take care, everybody. I will see you on Wednesday in the next live event, or I'll see you in the videos or see you in the comments. Take really good care of your voices. Bye.